Hey YouTube land, Anders here, coming with another Jurassic World Rebirth figure review, and this is another one of the story packs, I think they're called. This is the human character and dinosaur 2-packs basically. I believe they call them story packs for this outing. So this is the fourth one that was released over here, which is Reuben Delgado and the parasaurlophous, or parasaurlophous, if that's how you pronounce it. I always called it a parasaurlophous. I probably butchered the name. So it's a parasaurlophous. So again, it's one of the human characters that appear in the movie, but I believe the dinosaur in question, this one, does not appear in the movie, unless it's one of those blink and miss it. I only seen the movie once, so I don't remember the parasaurs being in there, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. So we will just move these aside slightly so I can bring the packaging in a little bit closer. So as with the other packaging, it is your kind of standard affair. Spinosaurus in the corner, Rebirth logo on the bottom, name of the character. You have some legalese stuff, how to recycle, that kind of stuff, more legalese stuff on the bottom. And then when you flip around the back of the box, it shows other, the other character in this wave, which was the Duncan Kincaid with Velociraptor, and the Reuben figure and the parasaurlophous, or parasaurlophous, or however you want to pronounce it in the multiple languages that it is printed on in the box. So bear with me a moment. We're going to pause the video. We're going to get into the figures. I'm going to get them set up and we have a look at the figures in a little bit more detail. So here are the two figures in from the box. Starting off with Reuben, we will bring in the tape measure and have a look at how tall he is. He should be 7.5 inches tall, and that he's just a little shy of the 4-inch mark, which it means he's 7.5 inches. From the parasaurlophous, from the top of its head crest is probably the highest point, even though the tail does kind of go up. That does look to be about 4.5. In fact, I would just move Reuben over a small bit. I don't think the tail goes any higher than the 4-inch mark. So I think the tip of the head crest is probably the highest point. And then for its length, from the snout to the tip of the tail, is around, I know it's upside down, but it is around 7.5 inches. So it's not too long, it's not too big. I believe it's supposed to be a juvenile version of this dinosaur as opposed to a full grown adult version. And it is very similar to, if I bring it in, because we might as well get comparison out of the way, this is the one that came with the Sorna set. The one that came with the InGen vehicle with the Island Sorna set, and I think it came with the Roland character as well. So it is very similar in look, but it is different. It isn't the same reuse of the same sculpt. It is a different sculpt altogether, but it is close to scale, if you consider that it's in a different pose, but it is very similar in scale. It's around the same length. It's a little bit shorter in height because this one's more raised up on its rear legs instead of on all fours, because scientists believe that these dinosaurs could go on to all fours if they wanted to, or be on hind legs as well. So they had powerful hind legs. They were able to kind of do both. So we'll move the Dilophosaur aside for a moment, and we'll have a look at keep wanting to call him Hector. He's Reuben. Keep calling him Hector Garcia for some reason, but I think it's because I accidentally called him Reuben Garcia in my previous video when it's Reuben Delgado is his name. So here he is in all his glory. He's one of the few figures actually that have a full shirt on down past the sleeves. Because if I bring in Dr. Loomis, you see his shirt cuts off at the elbow, so they didn't have to sculpt, didn't have to go the whole hog and use paint apps for the skin tone all the way down. So his arm, I believe, is cast in the red plastic, and then he has paint apps on the hands. So just be wary, over time this paint app could rub off, and if you're using the accessories that it comes with, it might increase that thing. So it does come with this, I believe it's a jacket that is over his red shirt. He was wearing a kind of dark wine colored shirt over a red jacket. He still retains his waist swivel. The only thing is this jacket isn't removable, unlike some of the previous Jurassic figures, which if I can find one, my mess of figures below me. The Ian Malcolm figure had a removable jacket. In fact, I think he had swap out hands so you could have him with his shirt look or without the shirt look. And that was for the Hammond collection one. Some of the other figures have removable jackets, in the sense that Dr. Loomis's one is actually a fully removable jacket, whereas the one on Reuben here isn't. He does come with a shared accessory, which is one that Dr. Loomis comes with, which is this new design version of the shock stick, or the cattle prod. It can be held in two hands, but it looks a bit awkward because they don't have any wrist swivel. So he kind of has to hold it kind of underslung on one hand, but he can hold it. You can look like he's electroshocking the poor plant-eating herbivore with his cattle prod. And then the other thing comes with is more movie accurate. If you haven't seen the movie, and it's not really a big spoiler, but he injures himself early on in the movie and he ends up walking around with a walking stick. So he does come with a walking stick accessory. He is actually the second Jurassic character to come with a stick accessory. The first one, and I actually have him here, which is lucky because I didn't think I had him here, and this is the Hammond collection version, so he also came with the same thing, is this guy. For those who are familiar with the Jurassic Park Legacy films, or Jurassic Park film, you will know who this guy is. For those who don't, this is none other than Dennis Nedry. And his claim to fame is when, well, he has a couple of claims to fame, but one of his notable accessories he comes with is a tiny, tiny little stick that's about yay big. And because in one scene, he picks up a stick from the ground, he chucks it, and he tells one of the dinosaurs, which I'm not going to say which one it is if you haven't seen the movie, although the film is nearly 30 plus years old, to go fetch like a dog. And he goes, "Fetch, stupid, it's a stick." So Reuben here is one of the few other figures that actually come with a stick. In fact, I do believe nearly every version of Nedry that was released has that stick accessory, which is a kind of, it's almost like a running joke, which is kind of cool. So for articulation, you can see he can bend his leg, because I have him up on the one leg, because you can actually have him supported by his walking aid. So his head is on a ball joint, so you get some good left to right. It's more of a swivel than a like tilt on anything, but you do get the full 360. Arms can go out that much for a T-pose, can rotate around, single jointed elbow with a swivel, again as mentioned, nothing in the wrist. He does have a sculpted on watch on his right hand, or sorry, left hand, which is interesting. He does have the ability to sit down. He has the ability to look like he's running. He can do the splits. Yay, good. As I said, he does have that waist swivel, so he can do star pose. You can have that single jointed knee with a swivel. Nothing in the ankles. He is rocking what looked like loafers or some sort of flat shoe. I'm not sure that's coming across, but he does have kind of fairly non-boot He's one of the few characters that have like non-boot sculpts. A lot of the other characters, like these guys, the mercenaries, even Dr. Lomas, the previous Duncan, and where is she? She was around here somewhere. Even the Claire has boots on. This guy seems to be one of the few characters not rocking boots. I think the only other exceptions might be the Lex and Tim figure. In fact, I have Lex here. Lex looks like she's even rocking boots as well. So, again, he's one of the few characters not wearing a pair of some sort of military boots of some kind. Although I do believe Ian Malcolm, since I have him here, had some sort of like black suede cowboy boot looking things on. So it is interesting to see a character that's not kind of kitted out for survival gear, because when you meet this character and his family, put his walking aid back on, they're actually on a sailing trip, so I would imagine he'd have some sort of sailor's sailing shoes on, something along those lines. That wouldn't be boot orientated, because you wouldn't want something too heavy walking around on the deck of a ship. So, oh well, on the deck of a yacht, so to speak, not like a big heavy big ship or a cruise liner, but yeah, something more lighter. So that said, as I said, he does come with that accessory. He does come with only 2 accessories. I do kind of wish he had one of these backpack accessories like Dr. Lomas and Zora came with. They're kind of cool, but it is what it is. So for comparisons, we'll bring back in that other version of the parasaurlophous. Oh, actually, we'll go through the parasaurlophous. I nearly forgot the parasaurlophous. So articulation in parasaurlophous is on head is on a ball joint. You get some tilt and up and down. It's fairly basic articulation, forward, back on the arms, and then forward and back on the legs. Now, you can kind of put it into that more upright pose, but because of the way the hands are designed, it doesn't look too natural, because you have this one that looks like it's designed to look like it's on the ground. And the legs don't tend to stick well together when it's in that walking pose, but you can kind of do it, and it does raise its profile a little bit higher. But the default positioning for it is supposed to be more ground-based. It does have the scan codes. I'm going to try and hold that here for a few seconds, so if you want to pause video and scan, so you can get the app data for this. And we will keep this guy back in for the comparison, just so you can see him. And the only other parasaurlophous, I know, as I said, I'm butchering the name, from the Jurassic line I have is this one, which I believe is, I'm trying to remember, this is more the full-grown adult one. I don't think this is the Camp Cretaceous one, because I believe the Camp Cretaceous one had a bit more, they had like a glowy kind of thing to it. I could be wrong. This is one of like the minimal action features. It doesn't have the electronics in it for the roaring. I do have an electronic one, but it's not from Mattel. It's actually one of the old Kenner ones, but it is almost in scale with this. But you can see the adult version of the parasaurlophous is quite big. The only other one set that I remember coming with a smaller scale one is the Owen Grady on bike from Fallen Kingdom, I want to say. I don't think it's from Dominion. I believe, actually no, wait, it is from Dominion. It's when he's kind of out at the start of Dominion, when you see him first. He's on a bike, and the colorings for the parasaurlophous and that's it, I think, are very similar. In fact, the colorings for this parasaurlophous is quite similar. They use a similar shade of the turquoise blue that they used on the Velociraptor here, which is kind of cool. And even the kind of base plastic kind of has a similar look to it as well, which is an interesting nod. Anyway, that said, we shall bring in some more human characters to compare the human with. So, since I have a whole bunch of them knocking around to hand, we will bring in more Jurassic World Legacy Park characters. So we'll bring in the other human characters that I've gotten so far from this movie, which is Zora, Duncan, and Dr. Loomis. Now, there is another set with Reuben. It's actually a kind of a larger story pack set. So it comes with the Distortus Rex, it comes with Reuben, and I think it's a different outfit he has, or he doesn't have the jacket. I think he's slightly different. And then it comes with his daughter as well, which I can't remember the name of. And it comes with a kind of a boat vehicle accessory, and that big, well, it's not a big version of the Distortus, it's like a slightly scaled down one. We'll bring in Lex. Do anyone else from the Jurassic era stuff? So we have good old Dennis Nedry. I also have Ian Malcolm. Just bear in mind that both Dennis Nedry and Ian Malcolm are the Hammond Collection versions, which means they have the, well, I wouldn't say superior, but they have more articulation. In some cases, some of the stuff is pretty good. And then that is it for comparisons. But for one last thing, we'll move everybody out of the way. Just like dump them off to the side here, because just in case you are wondering, I know this is an older vehicle, but we will take this into consideration because most of the lines are all designed to fit vehicles, and all the vehicles tend to be in scale with the characters, or the various characters from the movies. If you have one of the old vehicles or any of the current vehicles, Reuben here will fit it no bother, so he should have no issue fitting any of the Mattel orientated Jurassic vehicles. So if you have the the Explorers, the Mercedes Jeeps, any of those things, even the kind of non-movie ones that kind of they brought out, he does look pretty good. Another interesting feature of this guy, which I think would be kind of cool, is if you didn't want to use him as Reuben Delgado, and I know he's not very well, he's not super described, I don't think, in the books, but if you wanted to be really old school, original Jurassic Park book, you could almost get away with using him as Ed Regis. And if you wanted to do that, where is it? Yes. If you wanted to do the Ed Regis style version of him, you could get one of these and have him do that. Because in the original Jurassic Park book, poor old Ed was the guy that got shredded by the juvenile T-Rex. So it is kind of cool. Anyway, enough of that. We will wrap up here and we will leave it at that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video review. As always, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe on my channel. And I hope you enjoy your day wherever you are in this world and watching this video from wherever you are in the world. Cheers, thanks for watching and have a great one.